I was born in a small town. It's called Alma. At 6 months, my family, and I was the youngest of the family of 8 children, moved to a small village, Ocean City, so it was called. It was neither a city nor, for that matter, actually on the ocean. My family is coming from 6 different places in the world. One of my relatives is George Flett. It's from Orcadia, or the Orkney Islands, off the northern coast of Scotland. How did they even become a part of my family? Well, the English people decided they wanted to create a company in what is now Canada. And they needed workers. And people were running out of work in the Orkney Islands. And so they collected a whole lot of Fletts and put them on a ship and took them all the way over to Canada to work with this new company, which was concerned with fur trading. But then on the other side of the world, down south in Europe, my father's people came from Swabia. My last name, Rÿser, comes from a place called Swabia, which is actually a Celtic tribe that arrived about 3,000 years ago in what we now call southwestern Germany. But then there's a story that does go back about 350 years with an orphaned lady, or an orphaned girl, who was born near a mountain in what's known as the Red River area of what's now Ontario, Canada, but it was then known as Wascarini. Her name was Mitiwami Gwaki, and what that means is swamp medicine. She was born in a place where she could gather swamp medicine for the benefit of her people. By the time she was 17 or 15, she married an Abenaki man, and they had 2 children. So my let's call her my 8th grandmother, and her new family of 2 children and a husband moved to a place called 3 Rivers. Turns out the Mohawk decided they would attack 3 Rivers, and they killed her father, her husband, and they stole her 2 children, who from that point on became Mohawk. That left my grandmother, Mitiwami Gwaki, without a family, and she met a fellow by the name of Koch, who actually came from Breton. Everyone likes to think it's France, but if you're a Bretonese or you're from Brittany, you like to say it's from Breton. He and Mitiwami Gwaki married, and they had 7 children. Those 7 children became major influencers in the development of what's called Canada and what's called the United States, because they spoke 6 languages. One of the things one quickly learns is that the difference between a sort of European understanding of how the world develops, which is linear, that is step by step by step by step. In the case of the various Indian nations, it was here and then there and maybe here and then there, but they're all related in some way. How does this all relate to me? Well, I'll take you back to George Flett. He was married to a Cree woman, and so they had a child whose name was John Flett, who of course spoke several languages. He married Charlotte Bird, but her mother was from my grandmother's side. So you have a convergence of the nations and the state coming together. The Orcadian coming here, the English coming here, the Cree and the Oneida all coming in, and they converge and finally come into these 2 people, Charlotte Bird and John Flett. One of the few things people fail to recognize is that human beings have, for at least 50,000 years, been migrating. Now, because my heritage and your heritage is based upon that migration, is the product of human growth and human adaptation. What we have to figure out is how we're all going to live together, because they're not migrating just because they want to leave. They're migrating because the land is destroyed, or has burned up, or someone has burned it up, or there's massive crime, or some other kinds of things going on. And oddly enough, we talk so much about the shortages that exist in the world, but really what seems to be happening is that a few people are controlling more and more of the wealth in the world, and more of the world's population has less and less. And that is really a foundational piece for migration, people searching for ways to live.
Al hacer este ejercicio nos dimos cuenta de que todos estamos de alguna manera vinculados. A pesar de que no parezca evidente, podemos ver cómo la migración ha existido desde el origen mismo de la humanidad. Al migrar se crean conexiones, intercambios culturales y se expanden las raíces hacia otras culturas.